Hey guys, welcome to the greenhouse. This is episode 1. I'm starting to document my microgreens experiments. I watched a lot of YouTube videos before starting with this, but it still has only been about 2 to 3 months since I began. I learnt a lot from Curtis Stone, and I would like to give him a shout out. He's putting some excellent content up. My videos are not fancy at all. No aerial shots of drones, no funky backing music, no logo. I'm just treating this like a vlog, essentially. I have had already some questions. One follower did ask, how do I find you on Patreon? How do I support your videos? They're great. To this person I just want to say, Mum, you already know my Bitcoin address. You can transfer and you can support me in that way. So thank you very much, and here's a bit of an update. This is a tray of basil. We have some white mustard greens over here, and a few more basil over here, and down here we have broccoli. I'm doing this update as I water the plants, the trays, so hence I'm a bit distracted. I've found that just giving the trays a nice even spray of very fine mist is instrumental in keeping the sprouts standing up straight. As part of the ongoing experiment with basil, I have found that when the germination has not been so good, this daily or even twice a day spray, light spray, is helping some of the seeds which didn't germinate to pop up. So at this point the tray of basil would be probably worth throwing out and composting if this was a large operation, but in this case it's all an experiment, so I'm going to see what works. I finally had quite a successful germination of white mustard. It's always been a good germinator. In the past we were simply putting too many seeds in one. That was based on some eyeballing of the seed densities and just using our own intuition that it needed to be higher. And indeed, actually, the seed density was helping in some ways. It was allowing for the tray to be filled with sprouted white mustard, but then it ended up being very cramped, and there was still a lot of ungerminated seeds being popped up, which is a bit of a waste and potentially not very hygienic. The part which didn't go so right this time with the white mustard is that they were simply left in the germination phase a bit too long. The germination phase I will show later. The process of germination involves stacking the trays, heavily soaked with water, the growing media, and with the seeds on top also heavily soaked. So you end up with 3 levels like this, and then you end up putting some heavy weights on top of that. I've actually found that something about the weight of a house, 1.5 house bricks, has worked the best. You want that weight so that all the seeds are going to be pressed in basically a flat plane, and that they have access to water during that germination phase, and that if it's done right, then you end up with a very even germination. And that's what we've seen with all of the mustards that there's really hardly any seeds I can see that did not actually germinate. What did go wrong is that they were left in there a bit too long, and these stems grow very fast, and they instantly start crawling around looking for the light, and they're pushing up to a certain extent, but they're also crawling themselves around. And so I think in this weather, white mustard will germinate within 3 days, and that's the point at which they should come out, because then you're not going to get a situation like this, I hope, where, see, this part has been completely deserted because they've all gone searching to the sides. And it was just a bit of a luck of the draw in terms of which of these 6 trays actually ended up with a nice even spread of stems coming up. So we've got a nice corner here and a nice corner here, but in the middle is good. Here it has promise. Here's again not so good. Anyway, that's the first summary. See you next time.